Feeling the need for change is at the heart of your ability to make it happen. I'm Vivian Carrasco, and I'd like to welcome you to Turning Inward. I am your creative midwife, your teacher, and host of this podcast. Together, we're going to navigate the interior life by unearthing your personal truth, insight, and your inner knowing. In 2 words, this is your inner work. Hello, lovelies. This is being published on Sunday, January 15th, 2017. And I'm super excited to share something with you. And it's really interesting because this new thing is a completely different experience for me. But I'll get into the details as we go into the show. It surprises me that I still get butterflies before I begin. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But today's episode of the Turning Inward podcast is a little bit of where are you right now? I have been doing this work for a few years, and there's an interesting thing that's happened. I've noticed a pattern. And I grew up, my mom would subscribe to Cosmopolitan, and they had quizzes in there and surveys and stuff. And I always like to sort of fill them out and see what it said about me, because I was always looking for more information on myself. And I found that my clients like to sort of see where they are in the process. And the folks that work with me pretty much have the same story that I have moved through in the last few years. And I was always told that that's kind of how it would happen, but to actually experience that is a completely different thing. So I found that overall, the women that I'm in love with and that love me, as far as working together, are pretty adventurous. And they kind of have a playful spirit that wants to come through. Pretty much badasses, decision makers who have achieved big success, but with a bit of a distinction. They're kind of standing there like I stood there a few years ago and saying to themselves, I did everything I was supposed to do. I have everything that I thought I wanted, and it doesn't feel like I thought it would. Is this it? Is this all I'm going to get? And so the first thing that I thought when I was going through that is, how dare you? How dare you want more than you already have? That's pretty damn selfish, Vivian. And the other thing that I really moved through was thinking if I had something, it meant I was taking something away from someone else. But I gotta tell you, I think what kept me stuck in that place, stuck in that mud that eventually turned into misery, that I created all by my pretty self, and I'm saying that very humbly, was the fact that I actually believed that it was like this seesaw. If I got happier, other people would get unhappier. So it was like that either or decision. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice anybody's happiness for my own. But the pretty cool thing that I figured out all of those things were lies. It took a lot of years and a lot of work. But I've seen, both in my experience and in the experiences of a lot of women that I've worked with, that ends up being totally not true. And when you find what you really want, like under the surface, what that true soul desire is, not what you thought you wanted, not in your thinking, but in that full body, heart and soul, totally aligned, like what you need for yourself. And you get that? The happiness that you let shine through yourself sort of magically makes everyone else's thermostat of happiness higher. And that was a pretty neat realization for me. So my question for you is, where are you right now? And I made a few notes of where my folks sort of outlined, where they generally are and in the process. So the very first step is when you begin to shift your gaze, because all of my people take personal responsibility, almost radical responsibility for themselves. So you've begun to shift your gaze. If you're in the first step and you're looking inward, you're just kind of showing up and you're starting to listen and you're beginning to notice and you're kind of taking inventory. This is just you. Nothing's really happened yet. You're just muddling it over a bit. And you're in the perfect spot for that. So within Turning Inward podcast is perfect for you because you get to listen, right? Draw your attention to kind of where you're already going. So I invite you to continue to listen and maybe tell me where you are or what you're hearing so that I can tune in a little bit more closer to you and hopefully serve you better, because that's my whole purpose of being here. So thank you for listening. You're in the right place, and you're not alone. This can happen to a lot of people. Now, after a period of time, nobody knows how long that is. It could be years. It's totally okay if it's years. It could be days. Kind of like a Netflix binge, right? You go through the whole season all at once just to get it over with. The second step is when you start to just wonder, what if? This is a pretty amazing stage. This is where you begin to explore the possibilities and kind of give yourself permission. It also, in this space, you're ready to dream. You're ready to just consider. And as a gift for listening, I designed a workshop that I was offering live here in the house for a couple of years to really beautiful people 3 times a year. And I did my best to sort of turn it into a digital version. And it's called Design Your Life Digital. I'll put the link to those recordings in the show notes so that you can access that. And what you'll do in there's 3 classes. They're about 30 minutes each, live video recording. You'll go through a process to begin to give yourself permission to dream. And I invite you to explore that or explore any of the free resources on the website, the courses that kind of just start to build your muscles slowly, right? Drip by drip. It's an everyday practice. It's not anything out of your ordinary experience because you're changing your way of life, the way you live. And Design Your Life Digital is perfect for you if you're ready to kind of take a tiny step beyond just beginning to notice. Now, what I'm super excited about, and the reason that you heard that Freudian slip, is because I'm here to share with you the amazing news that Within University is opening her digital doors, and I'm offering a preview class, a free 5-day experience for you to sort of get a pink spoon. Way back in the day, and I don't even know if they're still open yet, in Texas, in my hometown, our ice cream shop was called Baskin Robbins. 31 flavors. Now, how are you going to decide between 31 flavors of ice cream? Well, they had this little tiny pink spoon, and you could have a taste. And that's what the 5-day experience that I'm offering for you is. It's a taste. And you can either go to withinuniversity.com/discover, or if you haven't already visited my digital home, viviancarrasco.com/blog, all the links will be there for you so that anywhere will take you to the same place. All roads lead home, right? So if you've moved beyond sort of just giving yourself permission to wonder and you're ready to be with other people, because you're not alone in this. If you're ready to be with other people who feel the same way you do, then Within University, we get together and we figure it out one step at a time. Moving through the 5-day experience, you'll get an idea of my teaching style. And after the 5-day experience, I'll actually open the doors and share the details of the program so you can decide if it's something that you want to continue with or if you just kind of want to hang around here. It's all good. You do you. I said that last week to my little sister and she loved it. You do you, boo. So the interesting thing about Within University, and the reason why I honestly have the audacity to even create it, is that it comes directly from the experiences of my former clients and in our, sort of group experiences that I've gone to. And it is actually better than anything I could have ever dreamed myself, because it just is. And that gives me the confidence I need to say, I know with a level of certainty that I haven't had about my work ever, that the investment that you make in this is minor compared to the return you'll get. That's just true. That's just true. So I have a quote that actually came up that really, really gives a good synopsis of this whole experience. And it's by one of my favorite sages. His name is Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh has some really good advice. This one is, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. The 5-day experience is exactly that first step, moving beyond your thinking, because your thoughts are little liars. And I'll give you a really personal example of that came up recently for me. I'm certified to teach yoga. I went through a training, I guess, about 3 years ago. And for whatever reason, knew that I wasn't called to teach. It wasn't something that I really wanted to do. And I like doing things I really want to do. And my time slot came open. I've talked about having yoga church at my studio, sort of comically, for the last year and a half or so. And the studio owner said to me, 8:30 Sunday is open. You want it? And without a thought, I said, hell yeah. But I gotta tell you, there were boogers and slobber and sweat between myself and the first time in that studio, which would just totally honestly make me mad. It pissed me off because there was not a single logical reason that I should have been scared. But I was, and I kind of still am. But I'm also really excited about guiding others through their personal asana practice. So the way that I do things is simple. It's not easy, but here it is in a nutshell. You will navigate through your abyss from a place of possibility instead of pain, because that is one of the fundamental principles that I learned as I went through my sort of destruction and rebirth. And when I look at my life and what the before and the after were like, they were exactly this. Even though I've never had sort of a perfect life, I mean, growing up in poverty and that whole bit didn't make things, I didn't have all the things in the world, but I always felt like I had a pretty good life. A few years ago, during the time I call the dark years, everything changed for me. And then when I began to pivot back, I recognized what it was that I had lost. And it was really my sense of direction, which is why I say purposefully navigate. This is your personal compass. This is your true north. Like, you go towards something. What I had done during the dark times is I had stopped focusing on what brought me joy and what made me happy. And all I thought about was what wouldn't hurt me. So I was navigating from a place of pain. And that's not the funnest way to take a ride like this, because the inner landscape is pretty bumpy. So that's what I've got for you today. If you're new to me, I want to tell you a couple of things about who I am. First and foremost, what I'd like to share is that I am the mother of 2 amazing grown men. And you've heard me talk about them on the podcast. The wife of a retired soldier. And I lately calling myself a change maker. I say that because I midwife creativity. All of this is about creating, designing, painting your blank canvas that you call your life into what you want it to be. So I've been told that I have a gift of seeing into the heart of things, and I'm kind of owning that because I really love pointing out possibilities that are right in front of you. I don't do that so well for myself, but I'm a badass at doing it for others. So I'm also a mindset mentor, which is why I focus a lot on beliefs. Our minds and our thoughts give us a kind of, those bumper things, like when you're going down a road and they make you slow down, like they literally will the car. That's what your beliefs can be for you. I'm not here to change your beliefs. Like, you decide what you're looking at in the mirror. But, they're there right in front of you, waiting for you to turn them around. So the other thing about me, I think that I've realized recently too, is that over the course of my whole vocational life, there's a thread that kind of runs through the whole thing. I feel like I really made my mark in the world, in my work, when I was working in partnerships and developing relationships at the local, national, international level, working with Fortune 50 companies and nonprofits, and one of my favorite organizations, the U.S. Army, consulting for them. All of that really revolved around partnership development, organizational development, and most recently, another area, human resources, which is employee relations. My training, ran from a bachelor's of psychology, master's of human relations, and a doctorate in educational leadership. And then recently, I've really enjoyed being trained by Martha Beck Institute as both a life coach and a master life coach. The single thread that runs through all of that is that I've been a lifelong student of humans. And it's interesting because my promise, the outcome I promise you, was the revelation I was offered when I started to shift my own direction. And that was that you can love being human. You can love it, all of it. You can dance with it. So I hope that what this shares with you, what it sort of says to you, is that my heart, my intellect, and my intention are all going in that same direction. And that is to help you move forward. So visit the blog or visit within you to find the resources or to join the Pink Spoon class, Beyond Your Thinking. And I'll see you in school. If something needs to change and you don't quite know what it is yet, tune in and turn inward. I host an online learning community where we can figure it out together. Feels like a little family, and it's a place where you can be supported and offer support, because togetherness sparks change. Visit my digital home at viviancarrasco.com to learn more.